Hey there guys, this is your host Richard with another marvelous video. The poor scientist who was bombarded with abnormal amounts of gamma radiation, the genius behind the gamma bomb. Little did Bruce Banner know that the deadly radiation from his own creation would turn him into a green monster fueled by rage. The Incredible Hulk has been part of Marvel's ensemble since the 60s. Created by artist Jack Kirby and written by the man himself, Stan Lee, Hulk's journey as a character has been nothing short of a thrilling adventure. Presently, many younger fans know him as part of their favorite superhero team, the Avengers. Not only has the Green Beast appeared in countless comic series, movies and live-action shows, but it's also graced the wondrous world of animation. In this marvelous video, we're going to take a deep dive into all the animated shows and movies that Hulk has featured in. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
They ain't heard nothing yet.
Animated TV series. An exciting aspect of Hulk as one of the original Marvel characters is that he got to be featured in animated TV shows made in the 60s. Since then, he's made continued appearances in nearly all Avenger-related animations. Here are all the animated shows Hulk has been in. The Marvel Superheroes, The Hulk segment, 1966. The American animated TV series first aired in 1966. It focused on 5 majorly popular comic characters, namely Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, Namor, and the Hulk. The umbrella show contained 5 segments. The second segment was titled The Incredible Hulk. This was based on the 1962 comic of the same name and the Tales to Astonish series. In the show, Bruce Banner, voiced by Paul Soles, was shown to be a soft-spoken scientist, esteemed for his work in the fields of nuclear physics and gamma radiation. Like in the comics, Bruce was recruited by General Thunderbolt Ross of the US Army to develop the first manufactured gamma bomb. During its live test, Bruce risked his own life to save a reckless youth named Rick Jones. This resulted in Banner being exposed to unnaturally high levels of gamma radiation, which in turn caused his transformation into the green monstrosity known as the Hulk, voiced by Max Ferguson. The show also gave audiences a bittersweet love story between Betty Ross and Bruce Banner. After turning into the Hulk, he fought villains such as Leader, Metal Master, Chameleon, and Boomerang, among many others. This 1966 animation was made in a stop-motion form that photocopied images from the comics itself. The Incredible Hulk, 1982. The 80s saw the creation of Hulk's first ever standalone animation series. This era also painted the behemoth a brighter neon green instead of his usual muted skin color. The show ran for 13 episodes on NBC and first aired in 1982. The show remixed the origin story of the Hulk as told in the comics. Instead of Russian spies of the Cold War, grotesque aliens sought the secret of the gamma ray bomb, Banner's creation. The show mainly revolved around Bruce Banner, voiced by Michael Bell, and his desperate efforts in search of a cure for his ailment. Meanwhile, the Hulk, voiced by Bob Holt, often rampaged around the city, wreaking havoc and terror wherever he went. In this version of the Hulk story, Betty Ross was portrayed as a fellow scientist involved in the creation of the gamma bomb. The first episode saw Banner turning into the Hulk after being hit with a mysterious cosmic ray. Even in this state, Hulk locked himself in a cave to protect his friends, but this gave Dr. Octopus an opportunity to attack the gamma base. In episode 4, titled When Monsters Meet, Bruce was in Paris and nearly found a cure for his condition, but he's met with a descendant of Quasimodo, the Hunchback of Notre Dame. X-Men, the animated series. Next, Hulk was featured in a timeless fan favorite, the animated X-Men series, which first aired in 1992 and ran for 5 seasons. In Season 3, Episode 19, titled The Juggernaut Returns, Hulk made an appearance in the most unlikely way. The story opens somewhere in Asia, as Eugene Turbot Weiderspan dug up the ancient tablet that had helped him find the Crimson Gem of Cyttorak. This gem graced its wielder with the powers of the Juggernaut as an earthly avatar of Cyttorak. Following the events of the Phoenix Saga, the present Juggernaut found himself at the bottom of the ocean after being punched by the Gladiator. A furious Juggernaut made his way to Xavier's mansion to exact revenge. When Charles sensed this colossal villain, he tried to summon the X-Men to protect him telepathically, but realized they were out of reach. Xavier then resorted to luring Juggernaut into the danger room and confronting him with a robotic version of the Hulk. This mechanical imitation of the Hulk didn't compare to the real deal, as the Juggernaut quickly tore through it. Just as he was about to beat up Xavier, Eugene touched the Crimson Gem and instantly absorbed all of Juggernaut's powers in the nick of time. The Marvel Action Hour, Fantastic Four, and Iron Man. Hulk also made multiple cameos in the Marvel Action Hour of the 90s. This syndicated TV block aired animated shows like the Fantastic Four and Iron Man. Ron Perlman voiced Hulk in both of these shows. In 1994's Fantastic Four, Hulk starred in Season 2, Episode 9, as he fought against The Thing. Ben Grimm, aka The Thing, seemed to be the perfect opponent for the Green Goliath, as the two matched in strength, but this member of the Fantastic Four was soon humbled. With a wounded ego, Ben Grimm searched for ways to overcome the Hulk, while in Iron Man, the animated series, created in the same year, Bruce Banner worked alongside his genius buddy, Tony Stark. Iron Man had battled the Mandarin for the first half of the series. In Season 2, Episode 11, titled Hulkbuster, Tony Stark asked Bruce to accompany him in their search for one of the Mandarin's 10 rings, for if the villain got his hands on all 10 of them, he'd be granted immortality and great power. The Incredible Hulk, 1996. Hulk got another standalone animated show in the 90s. The 1996 series ran for 2 seasons and aired on UPN till 1997. The decade was a great year for the world of animation, as it allowed for entertaining visuals and more focus on witty dialogue. The Jade Giant was voiced by Lou Ferrigno, who also played the character in the 1978 live-action TV show of the same name. The whole format of the show was reconceptualized after Season 1, as UPN decided the themes were too dark for young viewers. For added representation, She-Hulk was made to be a recurring character on the show. The show's main title was also changed to The Incredible Hulk and She-Hulk to attract larger audiences. The story began as usual, with Banner's transformation into the Hulk. This was followed by Hulk's run-in with the supervillain named Leader with his minions, Gargoyle and Abomination. Hulk also encountered mutated gamma creatures that resided in dark caves. Marvel characters who were all the rage in this era also made cameos in the show. This included Ghost Rider and Doctor Strange. Even in this show, Hulk isn't alone in his struggle. He has the constant support of his best bud, Rick Jones, and his lover, Betty Ross. Fantastic Four, World's Greatest Heroes, 2006. The new decade of the 2000s saw a ton of experimentation in animation styles, like the 2006 anime-influenced TV show Fantastic Four, World's Greatest Heroes. Around this time, everyone was talking about the Fantastic Four movie, which had mixed reviews. Unlike this show's predecessor from 1994, it mainly portrayed original stories. In the 7th episode, titled Hard Knocks, Hulk made a memorable cameo. He was voiced by Mark Gibbon, while the soft-spoken Bruce Banner was voiced by Andrew Cavadas. In the episode, Bruce Banner wished to visit his friend, Reed Richards, aka Mr. Fantastic, at the Baxter Building in New York City. Like in most of his stories, Bruce was desperate in his search for a cure. Upon his arrival, Bruce turned into the Hulk and began his brutal rampage through the city. Residents of the Big Apple relied on the Fantastic Four to stop the Big Green's rage fest. They also saved him from the ruthless operative Agent Pratt, who wished to capture the Hulk and collect samples of his blood. Pratt worked for the clandestine group Home Base, and they had sinister intentions of misusing the Hulk's DNA. In the end, Hulk was set loose in the Badlands while Agent Pratt was arrested by General Thunderbolt Ross. Wolverine and the X-Men, 2009. Any and all X-Men characters have always been popular in all of their animated iterations. In this 2009 show, the story mainly focused on Wolverine's journey as he became the new leader of the X-Men. This was followed by the devastating disappearances of Jean Grey and Charles Xavier, which didn't fail to pull at their audience's heartstrings. In Episode 7, titled Wolverine vs. the Hulk, Fred Tatasciore voiced the Jade Giant while Gabriel Mann voiced Bruce Banner. The episode was a sequel to Hulk vs. Nick Fury. The MRD, which was a mutant hunting organization, were on Wolverine's trail despite S.H.I.E.L.'s multiple attempts to throw them off. Nick Fury resorted to requesting Wolverine to fight the Hulk, as this would draw attention away from the X-Men's real identities and keep Xavier's school a secret. Little did they both know the Hulk was merely used as a distraction, since a whole other monster named the Wendigo was responsible for multiple S.H.I.E.L.D. agents vanishing into thin air. Wolverine and the Hulk were forced to team up as they searched for a cure. The Wendigos devolved back into the missing S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. Wolverine sucker-punched Banner in the face as a friendly thank you. In return, Banner turned into the Hulk and threw Logan over the Canadian Rockies. Iron Man, Armored Adventures, 2009. The 2009 CGI animated TV show mainly followed the story of genius billionaire, playboy and philanthropist Tony Stark and his alias of Iron Man. The show featured a much younger and reckless Tony accompanied by his best friends James Rhodey Rhodes and Pepper Potts. Hulk, voiced by Mark Gibbon, appeared as a recurring character in a few episodes. One of these, episode 22 of Season 2, started with Bruce Banner asking Tony for help in his search for a cure. But General Thunderbolt Ross came in the way and led a group of soldiers sanctioned by S.H.I.E.L.D. to capture the Hulk. This was one of the various instances in which Iron Man had to confront the Hulk. Obviously, he did this with his special Hulkbuster suit of armor. Tony delivered quite a few go-to-sleep punches to subdue the Green Giant. The Hulk even appeared as a more intelligent version of himself, such as the Grey Hulk. In the final episode of the show, Grey Hulk was part of the Proto-Avengers who were assembled solely to retaliate against the McLuhan invaders. The Superhero Squad Show, 2009. Offering respite from the raging green monster and tortured scientists desperate for a cure, this 2009 kiddie animation gave us the most adorable iteration of Hulk yet. The Superhero Squad Show was based on the line of Marvel superhero action figures. It's also said to be a parody of popular Marvel characters while being influenced by the comic series of mini-Marvels. The running gag of this show was similar to The Simpsons and The Fairly Odd Parents. Fans witnessed Hulk pick up an infinity fractal, which caused him to transform into something different in every episode. For instance, In the pilot, Hulk goes from a jade giant to a little baby Hulk. During his battle with Claw and Songbird in episode 3, Hulk is touched by this fractal and turns into the sentient Grey Hulk. The show graced us with Saturday Night Fever Hulk as he parodied John Travolta. We even got Wolverine Hulk, Homer Simpson Hulk, Joe Fixit Hulk, Mecha Hulk, and perhaps the most bizarre of them all, MODOK, which stood for Mental Organism Designed Only for Hulking. Other than his unique transformation, little chibi Hulk helped his friends the Avengers fight Doctor Doom to steal even more cosmic fractals. The Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes, 2010. This animated show first aired on Disney XD in 2010. It introduced Hulk as one of the founding members of the superhero team, the Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Saviors. Initially, the team consisted of Hulk, Iron Man, Thor, Ant-Man, and the Wasp. The team was expanded when Captain America, Black Panther, and Hawkeye joined. The series relied on the unmatched chemistry of the team. Hulk, voiced by Fred Tatasciore, is obviously the physically strongest member of the group. While on his usual missions for the Avengers, the show made a conscious effort to focus on his changing personality. Turning into the big green guy hit him hard, which often caused him to lash out at his fellow superheroes as he nearly choked Black Widow to death in a fit of rage. Still, Hulk was a hero in the show. People feared and despised him, but he wished to help them and work toward the greater good. In the second season, one of the members of the Avengers was accused of being a Skrull. When a S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarrier was attacked by a mysterious Red Hulk, suspicion pointed to the real Hulk. It turned out that Captain America was the actual Skrull. He framed poor Hulk while General Thunderbolt Ross, aka the Red Hulk, was trying to replace him. Ultimate Spider-Man, 2012. Fred Tatasciore returned to voice the Green Goliath in this 2012 classic animation that primarily focused on our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. The Ultimate Spider-Man aired alongside Earth's Mightiest Heroes as part of the Marvel Universe programming block of the early 2010s. Season 1, Episode 7 was entirely found footage style in which Mary Jane needed Spidey's help to secure an exclusive interview for the Daily Bugle. But this plea was interrupted as Hulk could be seen in the background, rampaging through the city. Spider-Man was still unaware that Hulk was actually fighting off the villain named Zax. Later in the episode, the most unlikely duo, Spider-Man and the Hulk, are paired up to save New York City. Who knew these two would ever become buddies? In episode 19, Hulk was infected by the cybernetic species of the Phalanx. While Hulk was sick, Spider-Man took him to his own home and tended to his friend. He managed to hide the massive monster from S.H.I.E.L.D. and even his Aunt May. Later, it was revealed that Hulk began working for Nick Fury and S.H.I.E.L.D. only because they promised him food. Avengers Assemble, 2013. The Avengers Assemble animated series was connected to The Ultimate Spider-Man, a show that Hulk regularly guest starred in. In this 2013 animation, Hulk was once again one of the main characters. In episode 9, titled Depth Charge, Hulk is forced to prove his superhuman strength. It began with his colossal fight with a mysterious monster, which suddenly ran off as though scared. The beast hid in Manhattan, just as Hulk realized that Atuma, the oceanic villain, was trying to drown Manhattan with his army of Atlanteans. It was one jade giant versus an entire horde of aquatic humanoids. Hulk was left with no choice as he could either prove his prowess or die trying to protect the city. Episode 11, titled Hulked Out Heroes, gave us a thrilling twist when the rest of the Avengers were hit with a gamma energy virus released by the Red Skull. This turned them into raging, stomping creatures like the Hulk, who wished nothing more than to destroy the city. None other than Black Widow and Hulk himself teamed up to protect the people from the hulked out Avengers till a cure could be found. Such a bummer for Banner that a gamma virus was easier to cure than molecular gamma radiation. Hulk and the Agents of Smash, 2013. Smart Hulk from Avengers Endgame was also seen in this 2013 animation. The entire story was narrated by Rick Jones in the form of his online reality TV show. This show was filmed by flying camera robots which tracked every move of the members of the Supreme Military Agency of Superhumans, aka SMASH. The whole gang came together as Hulk, Red Hulk, She-Hulk, A-Bomb, and Scar went on various missions for the agency. They mainly dealt with threats from Hulk's arch-nemesis, Leader. In Season 2, the Agents of Smash returned to Earth following their battle with the Kree. They were being hunted by S.H.I.E.L.D., which had Hulkbuster technology, but the hulking agents were proved to be innocent just in time. In this show, Hulk was portrayed as an entirely different person. Bruce Banner had taken control of Hulk's simplistic mind and retained his wise thoughtfulness. He was all brawn and all brains. This sentient and calm Hulk was fully capable of leading the Agents of Smash, but sometimes the monstrous influence still remained as Smart Hulk still found himself blowing a fuse every once in a while and going berserk with rage. Phineas and Ferb, Mission Marvel, 2013. During one of the 104 days of summer vacation, the Phineas and Ferb gang gave us the most epic crossover. The story began with Phineas, Ferb, Buford, Baljeet, and Isabella in outer space as they surfed on an asteroid belt. Meanwhile, Dr. Doofenshmirtz showed off his new creation, the Power Draininator. Before Agent P could destroy this invention, it fired a beam that deflected off of Phineas and Ferb's space station and ended up hitting Iron Man, Spider-Man, Thor, and Hulk, who were in the middle of their battle against the Red Skull. MODOK, Venom, and whiplash in the streets of New York, the beam managed to suck out all their superpowers, which let the villains escape easily. Nick Fury let his team know that the brothers Phineas and Ferb were responsible for their powers vanishing. While the hero searched for the brothers, the villains joined up with Doofenshmirtz, oblivious to his incompetence. The heroes were put in a secret hideout for emergency defense, aka Shed, where Baljeet was hit by a gamma ray which turned him into a version of the Hulk. The rest of the Avengers, Phineas and Ferb, accompanied by Candace, had to search for a cure for Baljeet. Ultimate Wolverine vs. Hulk, 2013. Initially, this was a dark comic series made into an animated miniseries in 2013. The story picks up after Dr. Bruce Banner's apparent execution. Hulk was thought to be dead after his violent rampage through Manhattan, but mysterious reports of an unidentified creature began cropping up across the globe. Nick Fury suspected this to be the Hulk, but more than fearing another rampage, Fury was afraid that the Hulk's re-emergence would expose his dirty secrets. In a desperate attempt, he hired Wolverine to take Hulk out. The two had one thing in common: their bloodthirsty berserker rage, a state in which they could tear apart any fool that stood in their path. This is precisely what Hulk did when he was confronted by Wolverine. He grabbed Logan and tore him clean in half. Still alive somehow, Wolverine's upper half scaled the side of a rocky mountain to continue the bloody fight. This was all part of Fury's plan, as he knew exactly what he was sending Logan into. This miniseries stood in stark contrast with the other kid-oriented ones. The animation was gritty and abundantly violent. In the end, the two figured out the conspiracy they were wrapped up in. LEGO Marvel Superheroes Maximum Overload, 2013. 2013 also brought us a whole new LEGO adventure with adorable Marvel characters like Loki, who had eaten too many non-frost snowballs, which gave him a brain freeze. Unlike our previous iteration of the Hulk, who loved ripping people in half, this miniseries portrayed the Green Goliath with a detachable head and limbs. Wait, that still sounds disturbing, but that's how LEGO figures work. The show depicted the exciting adventures of the Avengers, Wolverine, and the God of Mischief. Loki watched from his royal throne in Asgard as Dr. Octopus destroyed a S.H.I.E.L.D. base. The heroes had to save the day and protect the people from Loki's debauchery. In episode 4, titled Operation Doofus Drop, Loki found his portal to Midgard was broken. He used his astral eyes to view Iron Man in a desperate search for the abomination. The savage brute was found sitting on the wing of a flying plane and proceeded to attack said plane. But the wing of that doomed plane was only big enough for one raging monster, as Hulk landed on it out of nowhere and began battling Abomination. The two destroyed the plane and fell into an oil drilling platform to continue fighting. Hulk, sick of his foe, punched him into the ocean. Marvel Disc Wars The Avengers, 2014. With anime already a popular genre in this decade, even the Avengers dabbled in this style of animation. The basic premise followed the Avengers vs. Loki. Hulk was voiced by Kenichiro Matsuda in the original version and Kyle Hebert in the English dub. Iron Man's newest creation, the Digital Identity Securement Kit, aka DISC, was a collaboration with Japan's Dr. Nozomu Akatsuki. The launch of the DISC was interfered with by the God of Mischief, Loki. He managed to trap the team of Avengers into the discs, which essentially turned them into playable Pokemon. The only ones who could release the heroes were 5 special children who had biocodes graphed into them. One of these kids, named Edward Grant, was a sweet and shy boy. He possessed the power biocode, which allowed him to access the green disc. This released the Green Goliath. Even though Captain America was Edward's favorite hero, he soon became buddies with an anime Hulk. This connection was said to be a reference to Edward Norton, who played Hulk in the 2008 film titled The Incredible Hulk. The Disc Wars explored the titular characters in the most unique way, setting an example for many Marvel animes in the years that followed. LEGO Marvel Superheroes Avengers Reassembled, 2015. Another LEGO animation. Avengers Reassembled saw the return of the popular superhero ensemble, this time to Boogie with Ultron. The show began with the Avengers planning a surprise party for a particular member, but this was ruined by the villain, Ultron, who not only crashed their party, but began controlling Iron Man's suits of armor. Tony was nowhere to be seen, so it was up to the rest, including Hulk, to find out what the whole deal was. When the team followed the villain to his base, Captain America and Thor had to fight off Ultron's Sentinels. Vision and Bruce discovered that Ultron had used Yellow Jacket to take over the suits of armor, so they summoned their own little friend, Ant-Man. Now, with Scott on the mission as well, the team tried to take down Hydra officer Baron von Strucker. The Avengers then hopped on a S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarrier and relentlessly fought Ultron's Sentinels. They also realized that Ultron wanted to gain complete control of the Iron Legion. Hulk finally rescued Iron Man, who was hung upside down. Together, the team finally went on to defeat Ultron before he totally destroyed the Avengers Tower. Marvel Superhero Adventures Frostfight, 2015. During the most wonderful time of the year, Marvel put together the most heartwarming animation, which showed the Avengers enjoying Christmas. This was a seasonal spin-off of the 2013 Avengers Assemble series. In true Grinch fashion, Loki and the Frost Giant named Ymir plan to steal Santa's powers. For reasons unknown, Rocket and Groot also had a bone to pick with Santa Claus. This show brought together the Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy, and the most mischievous villains. While the rest of the world spent their cozy holidays, these superheroes worked worked hard to keep the bad guys in check. Thor remained perplexed about this earthly tradition. Santa with his sleigh, reindeer, and the need to deliver presents all in one night. Hulk, who loved the holidays, offered his dear friend an explanation of why Christmas rocks. You see, there's Santa and presents, which kids love, of course. Now, Santa, he can fly, and the presents can be anything. A toy pony, a real pony, but not just ponies. Should he start over? No, he should keep going. There are songs, cookies, sleigh bells, sweaters, pine trees, big socks, snowmen, pie. Well, we're sure you get the idea. In his excitement over Christmas, Hulk brought his hands together in a thunderclap, which shook the wreaths off the walls. Guardians of the Galaxy 2015. This animated show was based on the comic series of the same name. It first aired on Disney XD and mostly focused on the Guardians of the Galaxy against cosmic villains such as Ronan the Accuser, Thanos, Nebula, and Korath the Pursuer, among many others. In Season 2, the Guardians allied with the Avengers to retaliate against the High Evolutionary. In the second episode of Season 2, Ant-Man, Captain Marvel, Iron Man, and the Hulk activated their automated defenses just as the Guardians of the Galaxy stole away Thanos' asteroid sanctuary from them. But the two ended up working together against a familiar foe. The show was a hit, considering it teamed up two superhero teams with great chemistry. Viewers enjoyed the friendly fire between Star-Lord and Iron Man, while Hulk and Rocket also proved to be two ends of the size spectrum. Marvel Future Avengers 2017. Marvel Disc Wars was followed by another brilliant anime-style show, Avengers in 2017. The story follows three teenagers named Makoto, Adi, and Chloe, who were heavily brainwashed by Hydra. They were made to believe that the Avengers were villains and a threat to the world. Not only were they brainwashed, but they were also genetically imbued with superpowers. They possessed the abilities to manipulate air, tech control, and shapeshift. After working for the evil organization, the teens realized their reality and began training under the Avengers instead. The three teenagers were dubbed as the Future Avengers. In Season 1, Episode 11, titled Hulk's Mysterious Rampage, the Green Goblin exposed the Hulk to a mind-altering gas which triggered an unnaturally enhanced berserker rage. Tony Stark was forced to step into his Hulkbuster armor once again to deal with this threat. Due to Hulk's destruction, a superhero regulation bill was passed, and after coming to his senses, Bruce felt all-consuming guilt. He decided to leave the Avengers and isolated himself in a decrepit Canadian forest. 2 episodes later, Green Goblin hijacked the Hulkbuster and tried to hit Hulk with the gas again, but this time, the Green Goliath resisted its effects and overcame the troublesome villain.
Now get off the kid!
I don't think Hulk's kidding!
Spider-Man 2017. This animated show was created as a replacement for the previous Ultimate Spider-Man iteration, which aired on Disney XD. It mainly focused on the adventures and misadventures of Peter Parker. In Season 1, Episode 12, Peter attended his school, Horizon High's Halloween party, when he stumbled across the Incredible Hulk, locked in battle with Jonathan Jonah Jameson III, who had been infected by gamma rays and turned into Man-Wolf. Peter and Bruce decided to team up so they could prevent Man-Wolf from infecting other students. Spidey was a die-hard fan of the genius scientist of the Avengers. The two kept a close watch on Man-Wolf, even following him into the high school just as Banner turned back into the Hulk. The Jade Giant confronted Man-Wolf once and for all in order to help him revert back to his human form.
Smash! No smash. I can do that. I don't like it.
Marvel Superhero Adventures 2017. The short-form animated series was aimed at an audience of preschoolers, so one expected kiddie versions of all the Avengers. The storylines were simple and sweet, like Spider-Man and Thor pairing up to stop Loki from spoiling their summer fun. In one instance, the Avengers are rescuing a cat named Mittens, and Hulk, voiced by James Blight, had to rescue a bunch of people trapped underneath the rubble. In one episode, Hulk even stepped up to save his best bud when Spidey was taken over by Venom, something that showed the Hulk gently observing his own emotions in order to help his friend in need. There was even a time when Ant-Man accidentally Hulkified Mittens, who went on a rampage through the city. Along with other chibi-style heroes like Captain Marvel, Black Panther, and the Wasp, Hulk looked anything but scary or intimidating. The show was evidently made for younger viewers who enjoyed watching their favorite superheroes deal with not-so-serious issues. But even for a little kitten, Mittens proved to be quite a handful. Lego Marvel Avengers Climate Conundrum 2020. From the 2010s to the 20s, Fred Tatasciore passed the torch to James Blight as the gruff voice of animated Hulk. The show kickstarted the beginning of the first annual Environmental, Atmosphere Awareness and Global Pollution Cleanup Coalition Conference. The convention was organized by Tony Stark and Bruce Banner, but a sleazy businessman named Justin Hammer managed to turn it against them. Then, Tony's weather machine got stolen by AIM. While hunting the evil forces of AIM, the weather of the world got turned upside down, which made the chase harder. In an action-packed sequence, Captain America rode fast on a bike bike while War Machine flew beside him. Even Black Panther joined their mission after a while. Justin Hammer turned out to be a smooth criminal who secretly worked for AIM. It was also revealed that both Hammer and AIM were working for the Red Skull to bring him the weather machine. Hulk, accompanied by Black Widow and Hawkeye, defended New York City while Captain America and Iron Man chased down the Red Skull before he could destroy the world. The Red Skull eventually figured out how to use the weather machine and summoned a blizzard so brutal that it was capable of burying even the Hulk under 6 feet of snow.
You can eat all those yourself?
That was my plan.
Lego Marvel Avengers, Loki in training. The show begins with Loki, the god of trickery and deception, realizing the error of his ways. He looked within himself and saw all the good he was truly capable of. This led him to believe that he needed to be an Avenger. The team was totally against this, of course, and tried to take him down, which only ended with the Avengers lying in a pile, tangled up by Loki's powers. Tony toyed with the possibility of Loki being an intern for the superheroes, and thus knighted him as an Avenger in training. Loki was excited for his training and began trying on the superhero costumes of the Avengers. He even shapeshifted into the Hulk momentarily. On his first day of training, the villain Crossbones and his henchmen robbed a high-security bank. Loki tried to stop the vehicle but sent it flying in another direction. Hulk quickly caught it with one hand and gave Captain America a high five with the other, which sent him flying over the horizon. After a long day of training, Loki refused to share his box of donuts with the Hulk. With this show, we got yet another sweet Lego story and the funny duo of Loki and Hulk, who mostly argued over food. Lego Marvel Avengers Time Twisted 2022. This twisted tale of time travel began with Ant-Man's snack run for the Avengers. He realized that his precious van had been stolen. With the quantum tunnel still in it, in the wrong hands, it could mess up the continuity of space and time. Speaking of donuts, this time, Hulk argued with Thor over the sweet treats and ate several boxes of them while the rest of the team figured out how to retrieve Scott's van. It turned out that the van was stolen by the Red Skull on a tropical island, which he'd made into an island resort for villains. The quantum tunnel was all Thanos needed to take over the world. The Avengers finally tracked the villains down and made their presence known by sending a giant strawberry donut rolling through the Chitauri forces of Thanos. Hulk, paired with Scarlet Witch, took down their forces one by one. At the end of the day, the Avengers had what the villains didn't: trust and loyalty among themselves, something they always use to overcome their enemies. Spidey and His Amazing Friends 2021. This bright and colorful animated show might not have gotten the approval of die-hard fans of the Spider-Man comics, but preschoolers loved it. The adorable Peter Parker, Gwen Stacy, and Miles Morales dominated most of the story, while a cute little Hulk starred in his own episode. Hulk was voiced by Armin Taylor. In Season 2, Episode 5, Hulk showed the Spider Trio his favorite hangout spot, the Smash Yard, in which he could safely smash things around. The Green Goblin showed up and fired his newest invention, the Baby Boomer, at Hulk, which turned the raging giant into a little green baby Hulk. Now it was all up to Peter, Gwen, and Miles to save the day and stop Green Goblin's tyranny while babysitting little Hulk. Don't be fooled. Even though he became much tinier, that baby could pack a punch and still loved smashing into things with all his force. He was just cuter, if anything. What If 2021. This animated show was set in the MCU and explored countless alternate timelines and all the what-ifs possibilities regarding our favorite characters. In What If Earth Lost Its Mightiest Heroes, Hulk was mysteriously killed just as General Thunderbolt's forces tried to capture him. The killer turned out to be Hank Pym, who had murdered all the prospective members of Nick Fury's Avengers Initiative list. Then in What If Zombies, Hulk's arrival on Earth revealed to him that the entire planet had fallen to a zombie plague. He paired up with the remaining survivors, who were the Wasp, Spider-Man, and Winter Soldier, in order to rescue his zombified friends, Iron Man, Doctor Strange, and Wong. In the end, he bravely fought against a zombified Scarlet Witch and her armies of rotting zombies. He decided to sacrifice himself so his friends could safely flee with the Mind Stone in their protection. X-Men 97, 2024. The most recent revival of the classic X-Men, the animated series of the 90s, X-Men 97 has been an instant hit with fans with insane appreciation for the well-paced storylines and smooth animation style. The show picked up the story after Xavier's apparent death. The X-Men continued working for his cause, bringing peace between human-mutant relations. In the Season 1 finale, Hulk made an appearance, but not really. Let us explain. In Tolerance's Extinction Part 2, Hulk joined the X-Men in their battle against Magneto and Bastion, but this turned out to be one of the fan-favorite mutants, Morph, aka Kevin Sidney. He got another moment of the spotlight when he seamlessly shapeshifted into the Hulk, even borrowing his powers to a certain degree. Morph morphed into the Hulk and delivered a powerful Morph Smash, which sent the strongest of Sentinels scattering. Movies. Let's move on to all the theatrical films the Hulk has featured in, beginning with Ultimate Avengers, the movie, 2006. This animated feature-length film depicted the last few days of World War II. The story begins with Steve Rogers as he deflected a missile launched by the Nazis. They were soon revealed to be shape-shifting aliens whose leader took the form of SS officer Herr Kleiser. The missile knocked Rogers into the depths of the Atlantic Ocean, where he remained in suspended animation. 70 years later, genius scientist Bruce Banner and his ex Betty Ross worked together to formulate a new and improved super soldier serum. Even now, the alien species Chitauri held their reign of terror, and the US government believed that the serum would help them stop the tyrants. But Banner was convinced that the super soldier serum was the solution to subduing the Hulk. He secretly sampled his own blood to create a cure from the serum. The effect was the opposite he desired, with the Hulk being released and out of control. So, while S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Avengers dealt with a devastating extraterritorial threat, they also had to deal with the Hulk. His former lover Betty managed to calm him down, and when the battle came to an end, Bruce Banner was imprisoned for misconduct. Ultimate Avengers 2 Rise of the Panther, 2006. When T'Challa, the Prince of Wakanda, returned home, he found it in a state of chaos. The Chitauri, Herr Kleiser, had killed his father in search of Wakanda's vibranium reserves. After T'Challa was anointed as King of Wakanda, he sought help from Nick Fury of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Captain America of the Avengers. Nearly all the Avengers assembled except for Thor, who foresaw a vision in which the Avengers died in battle, which was confirmed by his father, Odin. The reason was a mysterious space vessel hurtling toward the Earth. Hulk was absent in this battle since he was still detained for his previous actions. Due to a misunderstanding, the Wakandan forces attacked the Avengers, leaving the Wasp injured, and Cap's shield was also stolen. Thor returned and rallied their forces to fight against the Chitauri, who were now armed with vibranium weapons and armor. Meanwhile, Bruce Banner made himself useful and deduced that gamma rays would wear down the Chitauri's vibranium. Unable to go himself, he sent Betty Ross in his place with a gamma ray projector. The gamma rays were unleashed on Earth, and Bruce Banner's body was unable to handle the gamma radiation overdose, supposedly killing him. But in the end, when the battles were won and Earth was reclaimed after Iron Man's near death, it was revealed that Bruce survived the gamma ray overdose by turning into the Hulk at the last minute. Next, Avengers, Heroes of Tomorrow, 2008. A cataclysmic battle with Ultron ended with the Avengers being defeated, and most of them were even killed during the fight. Captain America urged Iron Man to take the children of the Avengers and hide them away in a refuge above the Arctic Circle. These were James Rogers, the son of Natasha and Steve, Henry Pym Jr., son of the Wasp and Giant Man, Azari, the son of Black Panther and Storm, and Torun, the daughter of Thor and Sif. Tony Stark took these children in his care and began training them to become future Avengers. Vision's arrival came with the news that Hawkeye's son was still alive. Cap's son James activated the Iron Avengers suits of armor that were designed to hunt down Ultron. After this, the young Avengers, accompanied by Tony, helped Betty Ross track down Bruce Banner, who had isolated himself in the desert. But Bruce refused to help them in their fight against Ultron. Cap's son James came up with a plan to lure the Hulk out so he could tear Ultron to bits, but Bruce refused to let Hulk take over. Henry Pym Jr. was forced to attack Bruce until he was enraged and let the Hulk out. Hulk tore Ultron in two and almost turned on Henry before Betty calmed him down. Hulk vs. Wolverine, 2009. Wolverine awoke and found himself in the middle of a crater in the mountains. How did that happen? It all began when Wolverine was deployed by the Department of Mutant Affairs to investigate a mysterious beast that was spotted in the Canadian wilderness. Wolverine checked out a small town that was completely destroyed, and the lingering smell was of toxic waste and gunpowder. He came across a scrawny man who sat sobbing by the side of a lake. Wolverine asked him if he'd seen a monstrous beast, got impatient, and shook him for answers. He realized in horror that the same toxic smell came from the man. The man turned out to be Dr. Bruce Banner, who eventually had had enough and turned into the Hulk before Logan's eyes. The Incredible Hulk then punched Wolverine over the hills as he landed on the edge of a cliff. The two fought, with Logan gracefully slashing his foe. The animation style deserved all its appreciation with every fluid movement. Team X, consisting of Deadpool, Sabretooth, Omega Red, and Lady Deathstrike, intervened and shot the Berserker pair with a bucket of tranquilizers. The underlying plan was to kidnap the Hulk, erase Bruce Banner's personality, and turn him into a lethal weapon.
Exiled by the creatures who live there. They feared his power.
Planet Hulk, 2010. Hulk was an asset for the superheroes of Earth, but his out-of-control rageful rampages proved to be too destructive. The Illuminati, out of all organizations, decided to launch Hulk into outer space as the safest solution. He was subdued and put in a space shuttle with its course set to a peaceful but inhabited planet. Hulk awoke mid-journey and thrashed around in frustration, which caused the shuttle to veer off its path and set course for a planet named Sakaar. Upon his crash landing, the Imperials of the planet rushed to put an obedience disc on the Jade Giant, successfully reining him in their control. The planet was ruled by the ruthless Red King, who took twisted pleasure out of arranging bloody gladiator fights in his arena. For one of these fights, the Hulk was pitted against the cosmic Silver Surfer, who was also being controlled by an obedience disc. Hulk relied on his savage instincts and found himself to be the leader of the gladiator group, which consisted of Meek, Brood, Eloi Kafi, Lavinsky, Heroim, and Korg. The group fiercely rebelled for their freedom, but were still forced to fight in the arena. There was even an unlikely romance between Hulk and the Red King's lieutenant, Kaera. Hulk took her as his wife, and they had a child named Scar with them. Hulk being taken into slavery by a tyrannical king turned into a full-blown revolution as the Green Goliath usurped his throne and was anointed as the ruler himself.
Hulk. Strength, invulnerability, and a temper that has made him
Iron Man and Hulk, Heroes United, 2013. Iron Man and Hulk was one of the many Heroes United animated movies where Earth faced one of its greatest threats. Two maniacal scientists from Hydra enlisted the help of Abomination to suck out Hulk's gamma energy and run it through Tony Stark's arc reactor. They did this in order to create a being made out of pure, undiluted energy, Zax. He was pulsing with unrestrained energy and hungry for world domination. Hulk and Iron Man felt equally responsible since the joining of their qualities led to the creation of this villain. The two paired up and faced together many foes that stood in their path. This included the hideously scaly Abomination, Wendigos, and killer robots named Mandroids. Tony and Bruce somehow managed not to kill each other while they worked together to reverse the global blackout Zax was responsible for. Avengers Confidential, Black Widow and Punisher, 2014. 2014 saw the release of yet another genius anime Avengers film. The story begins with the anti-hero Punisher busting Kane, who was an illegal weapons dealer in the middle of selling SHIELD equipment in the black market. Even Black Widow was on Kane's trail but got tangled up with Punisher, which let the thief escape. They tracked Kane to Leviathan's lab, where they found he was a genetically engineered super soldier who lay sleeping in pods. It was also revealed that Natasha's former lover and SHIELD agent, Elias, had begun working for the global terrorist. In this whole altercation, both Black Widow and Punisher are put in extremely risky situations in order to investigate the underworld of criminals who deal with stolen technology. During these illegal and highly dangerous actions, the room was overrun by the engineered super soldiers, which nearly killed the undercover duo. But who swoops in to help just in time? Yep, the Incredible Hulk. Even with the Hulk by their side, Widow and Punisher needed more reinforcements in the form of Iron Man, War Machine, Thor, and Hawkeye. In the end, Punisher tracks down Kane and kills him.
So that's what that feels like.
Yeah.
That's 2-year-old.
Iron Man and Captain America, Heroes United, 2014. In another installment of the Heroes United series, Captain America and Iron Man team up to take down a common foe, just as the two villains, the Red Skull and the Taskmaster, joined forces to conspire against these two Avengers. They infiltrated the SHIELD helicarrier and stole away Tony's repulsor cannon while also abducting Cap. The Red Skull planned to use Steve's super soldier blood to create an army of minions for himself. This was done after Captain America was brainwashed to become Captain Hydra, who was ordered to take down Iron Man. On top of this, Taskmaster hijacked one of Tony's Mark 6 suits and named it Iron Master. But cool as a cat, Tony remained calm and managed to reverse Cap's brainwashing. The two Avengers then rushed to the Red Skull's underground facility to stop the mass production of brainwashed Hydra super soldiers and take back what was stolen. It was too late. Tony and Steve were overwhelmed by the superhuman Hydra soldiers, but once again, Hulk showed up and helped them fight off the evil forces. After this whole debacle came to an end, the three of them went out to get some food. Hulk, Where Monsters Dwell, 2016. A Nightmare Before Halloween. Imagine the monsters that you fear the most. They've plagued your dreams, and the next morning, you've turned into them. This happened to a group of poor teenagers who transformed into the creatures of their nightmares. Doctor Strange felt the need to enlist the Hulk's help to deal with this bizarre threat to the city. But then, something strange happened. Hulk suddenly reverted back into Bruce Banner in the middle of a fight. Doctor Strange then took Bruce into the dimension of dreams, where they confronted Nightmare, one of the Fear Lords. But before they fought him, Hulk and Doctor Strange summoned the Howling Commandos, a group which included a zombie Jasper Sitwell, Man-Thing, Vampire by Night, Werewolf, and Minotaur. These commandos watched over the two Avengers' physical bodies while they dealt with the nuisance in the dream dimension. In this dimension, Hulk donned the dream version of the Hulkbuster armor created by Tony Stark. Marvelous verdict. That's it, fellas. I think we just listed every animated appearance of the Green Goliath, from a scientist who only wished to help people with his research to a massive monster, which countless clandestine groups try to turn into a weapon of mass destruction. Hulk's pretty unique. Many even believe that an animated Hulk is better than a CGI Hulk of mediocre quality. Case in point, Lego Hulk. Just look at him. Not a single thought behind the simple creature's eyes. But that's about it. We'll wrap the video here. Thanks for watching, and if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.